Hi there. For years, the story of AI has pretty much been written by just a handful of giants. But right now, something is changing. A rebellion is brewing, an open source insurgency that's threatening to tear down their walled gardens and honestly rewrite the future of intelligence itself. See, for the longest time, the most powerful AI has been locked away in what you could call a walled garden. It's like a private club run by a few big companies. Yeah, you can pay to use their tools, but you can't see how they're made, you can't fix them, and you certainly can't build your own thing on top of them. This closed source approach has defined the cutting edge, and it comes with a truly staggering price tag. And when I say staggering, I mean it. This approach isn't just closed off, it's a financial black hole. Just look at these numbers. By 2024, OpenAI had burned through over $5 billion. That's billion with a B. And that kind of bonfire leaves the door wide open for a smarter, leaner philosophy to come in. Well, guess what? The walls of that garden are starting to crack. A whole new front in the AI war has just opened up, and it's being led by two major challengers from Europe and Asia. Now, they're not trying to build a bigger wall. They're trying to tear the whole thing down with a volley of powerful, open-source alternatives that anyone can use, anyone can inspect, and anyone can build upon. Okay, so let's get into it. First up, we've got Mistral AI. They're a French startup that has just dropped its next generation of open models, and believe me, they are not holding anything back. They've unleashed an entire family of models called Mistral 3, and they're all open source under the very permissive Apache 2.0 license. And this is the brilliant part, they've basically created a tool for every job. You've got these smaller Mistral models that are efficient enough to run on your phone, and then you have this absolute beast, Mistral Large 3, a 675 billion parameter model designed to go toe-to-toe with the giants. They're not just releasing a product here, they're releasing an entire arsenal. And the open source community is, as you can imagine, absolutely thrilled. This gives them tools to compete at every single level. But as this comment from Reddit shows, they're already hungry for more. This gap between the 14 billion parameter model and the huge 675 billion one is massive. The community is already calling for models right in that middle range, that sweet spot for hobbyists and researchers with, multi-GPU setups. Now let's hop over to our second challenger. At almost the exact same time, the Chinese lab DeepSeek released a new model that isn't just good for open source, it's one of the best models in the world, period. Okay, get ready for this because this is a huge deal. DeepSeek v3.2 Special just became the first open-weight model ever to get a gold medal score at the International Math Olympiads. I mean, look at this chart. It's not just competing with the closed models from OpenAI and Google, it's beating them. This is a truly monumental moment for the open source world. So the big question is, how did they pull this off? Well, it wasn't just about throwing more data or more computers at the problem, it was a genuine algorithmic breakthrough. They developed something called DeepSeek Sparse Attention, or DSA. The best way to think of it is like giving the AI a pair of smart glasses. Instead of reading every single word in a massive document, it knows exactly where to focus. This makes it radically more efficient, allowing for huge context windows and way faster performance without the insane costs. It's smarter, not just bigger. And this really shows their focus. While Mistral released a whole spectrum of general-purpose models, DeepSeek is laser-focused on what we call agentic use cases. That's AI that can actually take actions and use digital tools on its own. To get there, they train the model in over 1,800 different virtual environments, creating a massive pipeline of synthetic data just to teach it how to do complex stuff. Okay, so we have these incredible new models from France and from China. But it makes you wonder, right? Why is this open source strategy so powerful? Why would a company give its most advanced work away for free? Well, it's all part of the open source playbook, and it is a strategic masterstroke. By opening up your code, you build trust. By letting people run it themselves, you get rid of costly API fees, and you give them total control over their own data. But the real secret weapon? You turn your users into a global army of developers, finding bugs, building new features, and innovating at a speed that no single company could ever hope to match on its own. So what this all means is that the center of gravity in AI is shifting. It's moving away from a few closed-door labs in the US to a much more distributed, global, and open ecosystem. We're seeing powerful new contenders from Europe and Asia leading the charge for a totally different path forward. But This new, democratized power comes with a pretty profound challenge. As we give these powerful open models more autonomy to act as agents out in the world, a classic philosophical problem suddenly becomes a very real, very technical one. How do they make ethical decisions? A recent study put this to the test with a digital version of the famous trolley problem, asking AI models to adopt different national personas. And the results were startling. The AI's ethics were incredibly fragile. When it was asked to think like a French person, one model became 70% less likely to intervene. When another was told to think like a Russian, it became almost 22% more likely. This reveals a really troubling truth. These models aren't learning ethics. They're just absorbing our biases and stereotypes from all the data we feed them. And this leaves us with a final and pretty critical question. The open source rebellion has successfully democratized the power to build and use advanced AI. But have we figured out how to democratize its values? As these models become woven into our lives, who gets to decide what's right and what's wrong? See ya.